The crystal plate shattered across the marble floor of the estate, sending shards of priceless Zentarian glass in every direction. Lady Zilara stood frozen, her forearms trembling, her iridescent eyes wide with disbelief. Across the grand hall, her daughter, her precious Rianne, was walking. For the first time in 8 standard years, the young Valorian girl moved on her own 2 legs, each step awkward but determined, her face glowing with joy and tears streaming down her crystalline cheeks. "Mother!" Rianne called out, her voice breaking with emotion. "Mother, look! I can walk." Zilara's wealth could buy entire star systems. Her family's mining empire stretched across 12 sectors, and her personal fortune made planetary governors bow in deference. She had spent millions of credits consulting with the finest Valorian physicians, the most renowned Zentarian neurologists, even the enigmatic crystalline healers of Proxima 7. Every one of them had delivered the same devastating verdict: the spinal damage from the transport crash was irreversible. Valorian physiology, they explained with clinical detachment, lacked the regenerative capabilities necessary for such catastrophic injury. Lady Zilara had refused to accept it. She had exhausted every option in known space, pursuing even the most experimental treatments. Nothing worked. Her daughter remained confined to a hover chair, her legs useless, her future diminished. Until she heard about the humans. The humans were newcomers to the Galactic Council, primitive by most standards, hailing from a small blue world and an unremarkable spiral arm. They had only achieved faster-than-light travel 3 decades ago, and their technology was laughably crude compared to the ancient civilizations that dominated the galaxy. Most species regarded them as curiosities at best, nuisances at worst. But rumors had begun to circulate through the upper echelons of galactic society. Whispers of impossible medical achievements, stories of humans performing what could only be described as miracles. Zilara had initially dismissed such talk as exaggeration, but desperation had a way of making even the most skeptical minds open to possibilities. When a business associate mentioned that a human medical team had restored mobility to a Krellian general who had lost all 4 limbs in combat, Zilara made inquiries. The human facility was located on a converted space station orbiting a nameless moon. Modest, almost Spartan compared to the gleaming medical complexes of advanced civilizations. Dr. Sarah Chen, the lead physician, was a small woman with kind eyes and graying hair. She examined Rianne with strange human instruments, asked dozens of questions, and studied the medical reports from a dozen different specialists. "We can help her," Dr. Chen had said simply. Zilara had felt a flicker of hope, immediately crushed by years of disappointment. "Every specialist in the quadrant has told me it's impossible. Valorian spinal tissue doesn't regenerate." "That's correct," Dr. Chen acknowledged. "But human spinal tissue does. Or rather, it can be encouraged to do so with the right intervention." "My daughter isn't human." "No, but the fundamental building blocks of carbon-based neural tissue are remarkably similar across species. We've developed a treatment protocol that combines stem cell therapy, neural scaffolding, and targeted gene therapy. We've successfully treated 17 different species so far." Zilara had wanted to believe, but the voice of reason, sharpened by countless failures, held her back. Why haven't other species developed this? The Zentarians have been practicing medicine for 10,000 years. The crystalline healers can manipulate matter at the molecular level. Dr. Chen had smiled, a strange expression that seemed both sad and proud. "Because humans break differently than most species. We're fragile. No natural armor, no redundant organs, no regenerative abilities. We die easily, so we learn to fix ourselves in ways other species never needed to. Our medical science evolved out of necessity, out of desperation. We became very, very good at repairing what shouldn't be repairable. The treatment had taken 6 weeks. Rianne stayed at the human facility while teams of doctors worked with a patience and dedication that astonished Zilara. They treated her daughter not as a wealthy client but as a person, joking with her, encouraging her, celebrating small victories. Dr. Chen personally oversaw every phase of treatment, adjusting protocols based on Rianne's unique Valorian physiology. And now, standing in her grand estate, Zilara watched her daughter take step after trembling step across the hall. Rianne's legs were weak from years of disuse, but the neural pathways had been rebuilt, the damaged tissue regenerated through a combination of human ingenuity and stubborn refusal to accept the impossible. Zilara crossed the distance between them in seconds, gathering her daughter into her arms, all four limbs wrapping around the girl she had feared would never know true independence. She wept openly, her composed aristocratic demeanor shattered as completely as the forgotten plate on the floor. "Thank you," Rianne whispered against her mother's shoulder. "Thank you for not giving up on me." "Never," Zilara managed through her tears. "Never." Later that evening, after Rianne had exhausted herself with walking practice and fallen asleep with a smile on her face, Zilara sat in her study and composed a message to Dr. Chen. She had already transferred payment, a sum that would have seemed astronomical to most, though insignificant to her personal wealth. But money felt inadequate for what had been given back to her. She wrote of her gratitude, of her wonder at human medicine, of her shame at having initially dismissed humanity as primitive. Dr. Chen's response arrived within the hour. "Lady Zilara, your gratitude is appreciated but unnecessary. We do this work because we believe everyone deserves a chance to walk, to run, to live fully. Humans understand something that many advanced species seem to have forgotten. Being broken doesn't mean being worthless. It just means you need someone who knows how to help you heal. Your daughter's joy is payment enough. Though I won't refuse your generous donation to our research fund, there are many more like Rianne out there who need help." Zilara read the message 3 times, then looked up at the stars visible through her study window. Somewhere out there, the humans, those supposedly primitive newcomers, were quietly revolutionizing medicine across the galaxy, driven by a simple philosophy born from their own fragility. They broke easily, so they learned to fix what others considered irreparable. And in doing so, they had given Zilara back her daughter's future. The shattered crystal plate still lay scattered across the grand hall floor. Zilara decided to leave it there, as a reminder of the moment everything changed, the moment she learned that sometimes the most advanced solutions come from those who have known the deepest struggles. The humans, she realized, were going to change everything.